So my name is Keith Silverstein. I have been doing voiceover in animation, anime, video games, whatever. Whoever's going to hire me, I'm like, yes, I'll work. For a little over 20 years now, which is crazy. Kind of blows me away how much time has passed already. I've just kept my head down and just been doing what I love. It's amazing to look up and see this many people interested in what I might have to say, so I really appreciate your coming out. Welcome to the Art of Being Evil. Who's feeling evil right now? Okay, well, you're in the right place. I'm always down for a little bit of evil. Let's just test out real quickly how evil you guys are feeling right now. Can we get a group evil laugh from you guys right now? Love it. That's great. And then we get a couple of real laughs after. And if that was a real laugh, it was just good. Your acting skills are on point. You're like, that was a fake one. Like, you're good. Just enjoy it. Enjoy the compliment. So, like I said, I've been doing this for a long time, but I never expected you to know all the stuff I've done. So I'm going to start off with a little reel here, so you can see a few things I've done, and then we'll go from there, and we'll test our audio. Hopefully you guys will hear this, or else, ouch.
Yo, I'm Ziggy the Rapping Zebrasaurus. Ready to learn some shapes? Fence size 1. All achieved with sand. Time to go! We shall try to Godzilla from our land!
I took 22 coins from your attack, so the question is, how many of them will I return to you? Enough to kill you. Where?
The name is Gil Tesoro. I happen to be the ruler of this humble city. Tonight, the good old days are coming back! Systems online. No matter what I do, moving forward seems so daunting. It's haunting, it's taunting, but it's all that I'm wanting. I'm wrapped in a cocoon and the pain still lingers. I'll break out and be that butterfly like it says on my fingers. My abyss! Gee, Goon, what the hell are you doing? I didn't even get the combination before you put a bullet in it. Time for the old good time. No wonder you got desperate to help his friend. Before frustration turns to anger. You gotta be kidding! You forgot your homework again, Nobi? Listen up. We're in collections, so our job's to get money from scumbags who don't pay up. You got it? So if that's what the people desire, then Shar Aznable is who I will be. You're perfectly. Stay out of this, I'll take him down! I'm taking him down!
Will you two quit yammering and take him down already?
I do not yammer! What does yammer mean?
Not 2, 5 of us.
Huh?
Yes.
Hellfire bird! Seriously? What a body this man has. What am I thinking? Does that none of that persuasion? You did well. I'm not saying we have to murder them. We just risk our sparks. But I don't play fair. What's with that look on your face? Think I'll take this opportunity to wipe it off? Build them up! I cannot stop writing! I cannot stop even as the final moments draw closer! You are where you are today because the director and the others died, right? I'm so glad I was able to help. That was a good thing. I can't recall what our original form was. Maybe it wasn't like either of us. In the end. Impressive! Still on your feet after one of my punches! Pretend be like you're some chihuahua. The whole world is insane! It's time to fight them. Look alive, Master Joestar. He's trying to do now you're probably wondering who I am. Allow me to elucidate ya.
Search for the real Aitake and Maitake. They must be somewhere. And if they're dead, then use their corpses to grow mushrooms. Have the chef cook them as usual. Name's Of course it was a performance.
Be amazed at what I am capable of, Almighty One!
I wish not for dominion, yet I cannot watch the common folk suffer.
Nice, guys. Thanks for the love. I appreciate it. Very, very cool. Okay, well, so I've had a chance to play all kinds of characters. I've played ogres and seahorses and ninjas and samurai, superheroes, teenagers, demons, clowns, mutilated bats, zombies, orcs, knights, fighter pilots, everything in between. But we're going to talk about the bad guys. We're going to give the villains their due today. But let's start with a basic understanding of evil, shall we? Profoundly immoral and malevolent, wicked, bad, wrong, immoral, sinful, foul, vile, dishonorable, corrupt, iniquitous, depraved, reprobate, villainous, nefarious, vicious, malicious, and my favorite, more. We can't even fit it all on here. So evil, in a nutshell, is not just one thing. And that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about some of my characters that I've played, and they're all villains, but they're very different. They have different motivations. And many of them would not consider themselves to be evil, to be very honest. But let's start for a second with a little show of hands. And don't overthink this. If you overthink it, it doesn't work. There's no wrong answer. This is not to judge people. But by show of hands, how many, just initially, think it's wrong to kill? Show of hands if you think it's wrong to kill. Look around too so you see. I love that there's like only like 12 people in here that are like, yeah, I think it's wrong to kill. Everybody else is like, no. So, if I say again, now how many of you think it's wrong to kill for food? Like to kill animals for food? We usually get less. In this crowd, since we started with 12, I would assume we'd have 0. It's funny because usually we get at least half the people like, yeah, generally speaking. If you continue on and you say like, well, you know, your loved one's in danger and you have a chance to pull the trigger to protect them, do you feel in that moment it's wrong? And then we usually also have another number there. There's no point in doing it since pretty much this whole crowd is like, kill, kill, kill. It is an evil panel, so you guys are in the right place. So welcome, you're welcomed here. But the point of that is there's a lot of gray. It's not very black and white. And no matter where you go or whatever crowd you're in, those numbers change. You have people who are, vegans, they don't kill animals whatsoever. There's people who don't believe in the death penalty. There's people who absolutely are like, yeah, go for it right away. It should be faster. Everybody's got a different opinion of that. So it's not like there's like, does that make sense? It's not like very clear. We don't agree on anything. And neither do these villains. They all agree on different things. So we're gonna start with a character that has purposefully chosen the wrong path and just really enjoys causing pain and destruction. Okay, so these are frequently monsters, demons, sometimes henchmen. They could be a lead villain, but here's the thing, it's not as interesting. It's very fun for a little while, but in the long haul, it's not always as interesting to have a character who just loves hurting. We don't feel for that character very much. Now, I played a character like this in a show called Straight Jacket, way back. I'm going way back here. I'm gonna actually show you the entirety of that character's lifespan right now. Don't worry, it won't take too long. It's a little bloody.
Everybody's got some bright red. Everybody. Bright red.
Hey, sport, you might want to step back a bit.
Empty seas. Vortex.
Now that's the entirety of that character. Now we have any Overwatch fans here? Yeah! Okay, just for the record, that was Winston taking out Torbjorn. Just in case you're keeping track of voice actors here, that's how that works, okay? Don't worry, I'll get my revenge, I'm sure, at some point. That's all good. Now you see that's a character that's all we know about that character, and they just really enjoy destroying and hurting, and that's it. And when they're killed, you know, it's a yeah moment. Like if you're watching the show, you're like, yeah, you got him, great. There's not a tear shed for that character. Who's a nameless character, I'm sure. But that gives you an idea. Let me show you another. This is in the same category, slightly different, but one of my favorite shows I've ever worked on. It's a little more friendly and kid-friendly. Glitter Force. Glitter Force is one of my favorite shows. We had so much fun working on this, I can't even tell you. It's the weirdest thing happened. I won't get too into it, but I ended up auditioning, kind of by accident. I auditioned for a character, and I ended up booking the role of Ulrich, the big bad wolf. By like session 2 or 3, they said, hey, do you want to try to read for Brute, the ogre? And I was like, yeah, of course. So I ended up reading for Brute as well. There's one other male villain in it, and that is Rascal, and I ended up playing for him. Same thing happened. Hey, try this guy too. So the whole show is, or a good chunk of the show is me arguing with myself. Why wouldn't I love it? I mean, how much fun is that? Now these guys love causing pain and destruction in a different way. It's not so violent. But if they can get everyone's negative energy out into the world, they can move the clock and awaken their Emperor Nogo, their lord. And every time they collect enough negative energy, they get a little closer to that, right? So that's where they're at. So enjoy me being evil and arguing with myself. Why not?
You must be delighted to know that I brought you a little present.
Whose birthday is it?
You've tried red-nosed buffoons and blue-nosed buffoons, so now it's time for this. I've taken a nose and coated it in darkness. Really? With this nose, you can summon the Twilight Buffoon, a far stronger weapon than the others. As an added bonus, you'll be able to control his actions personally. He'll do exactly what you want, when you want it.
Yeah.
Perhaps the best part of all is the Glitter Force's rainbow burst won't work against him.
Yeah.
Who knows? With this, you might finally be able to give those schoolgirls a fight.
Hey, we've given those schoolgirls plenty of fight.
Someone doesn't think so. Emperor Nogo is unhappy. If you cannot defeat the Glitter Force, you're of no use to him.
Meaning what?
Yeah, what they say. Well, useless things annoy the Master. He has a way of making them disappear. I'm just saying. So, Ulrich, what do you say? Do you think you'll be able to defeat the Glitter Force this time around? You can consider it done. Their glitter history. Let's hope so.
It's always hard to take out the team that the show is named after. Just saying, I struggle a lot with actually defeating them. But you know, watch for yourself and figure it out. So in those cases, those are basically villains. There could be multiple motivations, but who enjoy causing pain and destruction for some reason. More so the first than the second, but a little bit on the second. Now, a much more common type of villain, at least in my career, is a character who was wronged at some point in the past. Now, this is frequently a character that might have gone on to do great things. I mean, even be a hero, and then something takes him off of that path, right? So that happened. I know Bleach is big right now, so I worked on the Diamond Dust Rebellion movie years ago, and I played this character, Sojiro Kusaka. And he was friends with the main character, Toshiro Hitsugaya. And they both studied to become members of the Soul Society, but they both managed to manifest the same spiritual weapon. Well, guess what? That's apparently not the way it's supposed to work. You don't have any control over it, but that's not supposed to happen, so these two good friends, they're forced to fight each other, and the loser's put to death, right? Seems like the way you solve things, right? Not very fair. Of course, bless you. Bless you again. Guys, we can all say bless you next time, okay? It's a lot of fun when we do it as a group.
We're evil.
And very overwhelming. Sneeze. Bless you! It's very evil. So, of course, I lose the fight and I'm killed, but it's the world of Bleach, so I come back as a hollow to exact my revenge. So revenge is a major motivation. And what's interesting about this kind of villain is you can feel for that villain. You can be like, oh, I get it. It wasn't fair. Maybe you're not rooting for them. You don't want all your main characters to die, but you get it. It's not like a nonsensical, why are they so evil? You're like, yeah, it wasn't fair. I'm with you, right? I mean, we watch revenge movies just to see the revenge happen sometimes. If the hero is wrong, this is the case where the villain is wronged. So here's the end. I know I'm gonna ruin it for you. You had a lot of time, you had 10 years to watch this. Sorry, too late. And you'll see how different this is, this death, than the creature we saw die. Can you crank it up?
Gaia. No more. It's over. You're right. Let's end it.
Chosen one, you were ordered to kill me once, and you've succeeded again. But I won't die easily, you'll see. I will justify my existence to everyone who... Kusaka, we will always be friends. I promise. Thanks. I needed to know that.
So you see how differently that was treated? It's not, I mean, you could cheer at that point, but it's not really designed for that. You can do whatever you want. But that's because that's a character that you care about. There's something behind them. You're like, they just had a bad life. They had a bad shake. Things were going well, and then they just totally went awry. But that's a very common thing, and it's cool to have a villain like that, to play a villain that has redeemable qualities. Now, most villains would tell you they have redeemable qualities, of course, because that's the way they see things. So, when is a villain not a villain? How about when a neutral or good character is forced to commit wrongdoings or to fight? Now, like if somebody gets brainwashed, for example, that's a very obvious example. They're still a villain, but they're being controlled. We've seen that 100 times, but listen, you don't have to literally be brainwashed to fall into that category. Check this out. Here's a villain that technically is a villain, but I can argue is not a villain. So look at this cute little guy. Right? So he was treated really poorly by his clan. He lived in a cage. Now, of course, his clan got completely wiped out, and he ended up wandering off into the wilderness, most likely to die. It's a very sad start. But salvation came in this unlikely form. So Lord Orochimaru found him and took care of him, raised him, trained him, gave him life where he probably would have had none. And he grew up to be this handsome devil here. Good old Kimimaro. So the deal with Kimimaro is he owes Lord Orochimaru a life debt. Any of you familiar with this arc from Naruto? We got any Naruto fans here? A few of them? Nice, cool. You're like, woo! The Naruto fans are like, you! I'm like, yeah! Like, woo! So he owes Lord Orochimaru a life debt. We all get that, it makes sense, right? So anything he can do to repay that becomes his life goal. So anything he's doing that might be considered evil, fighting the good guys, stopping the good guys from doing what they're doing, or helping Lord Orochimaru in what might be an evil plan, is justified for him. In fact, if he's being anything, he's being honorable. And so that's the way I played him, because he's not like, ooh, I'm going to get you, like I'm evil and this is great. He's not played that way. He's played the same way I would play like a knight who is defending the realm. I mean, that's his emotional vibe. So let's take a look at him in his battle here.
My existence has been subsumed into Lord Orochimaru's ambition. That means a part of me will survive in Lord Orochimaru's heart forever.
Orochimaru's brainwashed you well. You sad little pawn. I've had to put a lot into this battle. Almost out of chakra. I must make this last count.
Dance. Bracken dance.
Side note, I was always hoping that they would do like a Naruto Dance Dance Revolution game. Because I thought Kimimaro with all his dances, like for sure, was like a shoo-in, right? Like they had to use him. It never happened anyway. But can you see that with the character? Can you see that? He's not, I mean, he's just being very noble. At least that's the way that I played him. So he doesn't enjoy anything he's doing in the same sense. It's very different and a very fun character to play. And if you guys have seen that arc too, this is another villain that you kind of care about. You know, he's much more interesting as a character, and so you feel for him a lot more. You guys, what do you guys think the most common motivation is for a villain?
Revenge.
Oh, you guys are good. Look at this, power right off the bat. Power. Some would argue money, but probably they want the money. The power gets you money anyway. So power is usually the thing, and there's a ton of villains. I've played a lot of villains who basically are on a quest for power one way or another. A lot of the famous, like Skeletor, I haven't played Skeletor, but Skeletor, Cobra Commander, who I have played, those ones are on a quest for power. So a lot of these famous characters, it's the same thing. It's very, very, very common. So I did play a specific character. Let's see what do I have here? Okay, I guess it's this one. So I played a character, Mabashi, in the series Bleach. I got another guy. I did a lot of stuff in Bleach. That's just kind of the way it works, and I love it. It's great. So Mabashi was in the Bount arc, and he was a Bount that was like bad, but he was going to follow the bad rules. Apparently there's a bad, like an evil rule book, and you don't break those rules. He was given something called Vito's juice. Once he was forced to drink it, actually, and once he drank that, he was more chaotic evil. He was more like, I want power, I want more of this vibe. So you can hear character-wise the difference in some of these.
My Gaulita is unique. It allows me to control people's actions by entering and taking over their bodies completely. You let her go! Oh no, she's going to do what I want. She no longer has a will of her own. She's a slave who will obey whatever command I give her. And now, Lugia, kill her! Amazing. So this is what it's like to consume living souls.
You know, my favorite part of that is, if somebody's like, now, kill her! Are you like, like, why is that the choice? That is the weirdest choice. I'm just gonna throw them up in the air, straight up, as high as possible. I'm sure it'll work. It's very strange, very weird choice. But can you hear that in his voice? That kind of that maniacal laughter, and that he's very much enjoying the power and abusing that power. So it's very different than where Kimimaro was, who had power. He was very strong and powerful, but he was doing something, you know, to pay back, you know, his savior basically, Lord Orochimaru, the savior of all. Now, we got some Disney fans here. All right, who do you guys think is the most evil of all the Disney villains?
Ratigan.
Ratigan, huh? Ratigan wanted, what again? It's a great mouse detective. Ratigan wanted just to be in charge.
Yeah.
Maybe take out a few rats that got in his way.
He was ruthless.
He was just ruthless. Vincent Price. Who else?
Ursula.
Who else?
Ursula.
Syndrome wanted to be the most powerful superhero.
Cruella.
Kind of set it up. Syndrome did kill a number of superheroes. I think that beats Ratigan, so I think Ratigan's out. Cruella's a good example. Cruella was willing to kill 101 puppies. I know people love their puppies. Killing, 10, 12 people, superheroes or not, to me takes the cake over. I don't want to kill any puppies, guys, don't get me wrong. But if you're on the evil meter, I know it seems terrible, but it would have been a nice go. Anyway, any other options? Ursula was willing to take Ariel's voice away from her, kind of trick her, steal Eric away, but not to really keep him, just to make it so she didn't get what she wanted. A little bit of power. Didn't kill anybody though. Everybody was just prisoners. Jafar going, what was that? Frollo. What was, do you guys remember Frollo from Hunchback? Do you know what he wanted? Genocide. He wanted to kill all the gypsies.
Genocide.
That one for me takes the cake, I gotta say. That's pretty bad if you're talking about what they wanted to do. They're all bad. I know there's somebody like, I can't believe what he said about the puppies. But genocide's a little worse. It's just a little bit worse, okay? You believe, we already talked about it. You guys are cool with eating animals, so stop it. Don't get all high and mighty on me now. This group is definitely cool with it. So, Frollo has a number of motivations, but one of his main motivations is hatred. He hates these gypsies. They're beneath him, they're below him, right? He feels he's definitely superior, that they're trash. They're nothing. They should be disposed of. They make the planet a worse place. But then, I mean, as a villain, that's great. It's not a quality I look for in a friend. But I did work on a show. I'm going to take it a little down from genocide, but it's the same motivation, okay, guys? We're going to step down from genocide because Monster High was not about genocide. But I played this handsome devil right here. And Bartleby Farnham had a number of motivations. I won't say what they all are yet. You can watch the clip and you can tell me afterwards what some of them were. But one of them is that superiority. They are inferior and we can do with them as we please because we're better than them, right? Let's take a look at that.
Where did I put Kipling? Kipling?
Yes, sir. Mr. Farnham, sir.
Where's my trading room map? I can't find anything in this mess. Yes, Calamity Island. We can sell them griffin tongues. I can use them and they grant immortality.
But we haven't got any griffin tongue left, sir. We already sold everything that wasn't nailed down.
Our situation is dire, Kipling. We're dead broke.
Save us! Over here! Please help us! Over here! Over here! Help!
Eureka! Oh, Kipling, look at them! Glorious, amazing, hideous monsters! Almost as hideous as you.
That they are, sir.
This is it. The public will pay top dollar to gaze upon such hideous monstrosities. We're back in business!
You mean our old freak show, sir?
That's right, Kipling. Bartleby Farnham's traveling freak show and grotesquerie. I think it's time to invite them aboard.
We are safe. Oh boy.
Seriously, I want that cane. That cane is dope. Did you guys get any other motivations on him just from that scene? Greed, yeah, money for sure. Part of his motivation is to make money. Of course, he can use them. He didn't want to just do anything to make money, but why not take advantage of these freaks? These freaks, these hideous monsters. Right? Very fun character, by the way. Good, actually a really good movie if you guys get a chance and you haven't seen it. We're gonna get a little darker now. Is that okay? You guys cool with that? Okay, here's a different type of villain, the deranged sociopath. No, it's not. Johann Lieber is from a series called Monster, and he doesn't experience empathy, doesn't feel it, or regret, or fear, or really have any conscience at all. He's very smart, and he uses this to his great advantage. It's a weird way that I try to. People have a line that they won't cross. Most people, hopefully everyone you know has a line they won't cross. He doesn't so much. So, for example, let's say your best friend, your female best friend, is dating a guy you're super into, right? So, if you wanted to, mess that up, you could, flick your hair a little bit. You could be flirty. You could maybe try to sabotage their relationship a little bit. But the only really way to be sure would be to kill her. Well, why though? See, it's not a bigger step for him. Does that make sense? I mean, he's not dumb about it. He's not going to do something in public that's obvious. But I'm saying that's the way to guarantee that that's going to happen. Now, obviously, we would never do that. We have that line. We don't want to cross that line. But this character, he doesn't have that. So he can take that direct line. He could also get somebody else to do it. He can make it look like an accident because he's very intelligent. But that's the way he behaves. It's a very weird way to think. It's a great series. It's not in English on Netflix, but they just put it on Netflix now, so if you haven't had a chance. About 74 episodes. I think this clip explains most of what's going on, but the main gist of it, the setup, is that this doctor, brain surgeon, very good, he's gonna operate on this little boy who's got a bullet lodged in his brain. He's probably the only doctor in the hospital that can actually successfully do this. Now, I don't remember, it's the mayor, the governor, somebody of political interest gets in a car accident. Any doctor could help this person. But because they're high profile, all of the superiors, everybody in the hospital says to the doctor, you've got to operate on the mayor. Because this is high profile, we've got to, and he's like, but the boy's gonna die, and they're like, that's not our concern, we'll put our next best person on that. And he knows that's not gonna work. He disobeys them and he saves the kid's life. The kid is in recovery. In the meanwhile, he jeopardizes and loses his chance at promotion. And they make it very clear because he's disobeyed them. Then the mayor lives anyway, because anybody could, like I said, could take care of that. Now, this boy is Johann Lieber, and as he grows up, one of the things he wants to do is repay this doctor. So suddenly the other doctors that were above him start dropping off. And we don't know what's going on. And this scene will kind of explain some of that.
Doctor, I heard you were promoted to chief of surgery soon after that incident. I'm really happy, Doctor, that you were promoted to that position.
What are you trying to tell me?
You are where you are today because the director and the others died, right? I'm so glad I was able to help. That was a good thing.
Did you? Oh my God.
Isn't that what you wanted, Doctor? That's what you said anyway. Right after I regained consciousness, that's what you told me. That you hated them so much, you wished they were dead.
I am not wrong. He is. Bastard! Bastard! He'd be better off dead!
All that I did was grant you your wish, Doctor.
I'm afraid. Oh God! Save me, Doctor! I don't want to die! I don't want to die! Doctor!
Supposed to die that night. You're the one who resurrected me, Doctor.
Now the thing about him is there's no sweat dripping down his forehead. He walked so casually after that. Even the shots were just very routinely done. He's not squinting in his face, it's not difficult to do. And this is what makes him terrifying. That's if he believes that he's doing the right thing or that it needs to be done, there's not all that hang up of emotion that would be associated with most of us going, oh, I can't believe I'm gonna do this is horrible, but it needs to be done. It's just like crossing the street, it's like going to the market. If it needs to be done, yeah, I'm just taking the trash out. That's where he lives. So that's what makes him so terrifying. And one of the most difficult villains just to stay in character and play, just because when I record, I like to goof around in between takes. And I very quickly was like, that's not feeling right for me to have to to goof around and be myself and then try to get myself back in this weird zone very quickly and do another take. I felt like I would be cheating the audience, cheating the director, cheating myself. So it was one of those where I was like, hey, Patrick Seitz directed this, and did a great job. And I was like, hey, Patrick, I'm not in a bad mood, I'm not manager or anything, but I'm gonna be pretty chill until break time, just to kind of stay somewhat in character. Just live in this dark place for a little while. Don't mind me. But it worked best for the role. So the last villain I'm gonna talk about here actually, fits in an odd category. And in fact, in a lot of ways, he doesn't demonstrate himself as being a villain in the show that he's in. He demonstrates all the potential of a villain, and there are a couple of scenes that, you know, that you're like, oh, okay, maybe. But he doesn't hinder the main characters too much yet. So he's been very interesting. That's this guy here. So Hisoka from Hunter x Hunter, who clearly you know this character a bit. He's very interesting. He's very much out for himself, right? He's definitely willing to kill. Well, check that off the villain list, but there are some heroes that are like that too. His main thing is, more than anything, what brings him the greatest joy is a good fight. A very good fight, a challenge. And it's harder and harder for him to get a challenge. Now, when I say he enjoys a good fight, let's be frank, he enjoys a good fight. He really, sexually, he enjoys a good fight. It's very clear in the show. You don't have to watch that much of the show to go, oh. Okay. Now, I know there are a lot of rumors about the character, and he likes little boys and blah, 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 blah. That's not part of the character as I see it. I do think that in writing it, they definitely walked a thin line. Does that make sense? To elicit reactions from people. So I'm not going to say that's not true. But I think if they wanted to write an even weirder show where Gon was like a 75-year-old woman with the same potential, he would have been just as excited. It wouldn't have affected Hisoka. It's not because it's a little boy that it matters at all. It's just, that's what those shows are, right? It's always a little kid who's like, who is this kid? They have so much potential, and then we watch them grow and get stronger and train. That's what those shows are about. So let's take a look at this guy. He definitely gives you an uneasy feeling every time he shows up.
I adore that look. Not bad, little boy. Is that a fishing pole? How original. I'd like to see it. Do you mind?
Leave him alone. Your fight's with me!
Did you come here to help your friend? Such a good boy. I adore that look. Well done. Very nice. I'm beginning to get excited. So delightful. I love that look. Don't worry. I didn't kill your friend. He's going to be just fine. And that's because he passed. And yes, you pass as well. Now go and become a good hunter.
Hisoka, should get back here. We've almost reached the site of the second phase.
Okay. Okay, be right there. It's good to have friends, isn't it? Can you find your own way back? Good boy.
So you can see his enjoyment in that little bit of a fight, and he starts to go, okay, this kid's pretty good. But yeah, I probably will never play another, it's a very different character. I don't think there's a lot of characters like that. So that's basically the end of the clip, it just runs a little long. So that covers Hisoka. Now, I always like to have a little bit of time for some questions. We got a mic up here, which I assume is working. If you guys got some questions, please come on up and ask away, and I will try to answer as well as I can. Whatever, it doesn't even have to be about voiceover. It could be something weird, I don't care. What do you got? Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's the most difficult character you ever played and why?
I actually think it was Johann Lieber that I was talking about, actually, of all of them, because it was really hard to stay in that zone. I don't like to do that. I usually don't have a problem flipping back and forth, bless you, from character to being myself and goofing around. It really depends on where the character is, but that was emotionally the most taxing for me. There are ones that are vocally stressful, like Torbjorn or Vector the Crocodile, or there are some of those when you're doing them for hours at a time, you're like,
Which one did you do with the most ease?
Ooh, I don't know. Which one? I mean, is there one that I just slip into so easily? I don't have an answer for you, sorry.
Do you follow the current state of Overwatch as a game?
Oh, I was gonna say, Overwatch has their own state now? Wow, we're doing great, guys! Come get your honor! Listen, I don't play, I've played Overwatch, I mean, I have it. I never have time to play video games. I'm like an old school video game person. I love video games. One day I will retire and have time, and I will plug in the latest PlayStation 20 into my brain like you do, and I will play like crazy. But so no, I don't know if there's something going on. Don't drag me into some political thing though. I don't want to be there.
No, I won't. I just
do the voices, man.
How do you feel about the character Torbjorn in Overwatch?
The best character. I mean, come on, he's great. He's like a leader, he's like everybody's dad, kind of in a way. What would you do without his tech, without his mech? I mean, you need that stuff. And he's a lot of the heart. He's not the only character that has heart on the team, of course, there's quite a few, but he is definitely one of them. And he's the one I have focused on most. They're great characters. All the characters are great, and that's one of the things I love about Overwatch, is there's somebody for everybody. So when people are like, oh, sorry, I don't mean Torbs, I'm like, why are you apologizing to me? You like the game, that's fantastic. What more could I ask? But he's the best, yeah.
Can you give us his iconic ultimate voice line?
Molten Core!
If I wanted to become a voice actor, how would I start?
You would just go to a website called iwannabeavoiceactor.com. That's the quick answer for that. It'll give you lots of ways to start. Thank you. You look great.
Thank you.
Can you help me fix my arm?
How does it feel always playing the villain?
I don't always play the villain. I don't. Sometimes I hunt vampires. It's true. Torbjorn's not a villain. I mean, there's more than Simon Belmont and Torbjorn, but I love, if you want to just know my opinion on, villains are the most fun. But I'm happy to play, Saber in Fire Emblem. Like, they don't have to be a villain. I'm like, yeah, I love these other characters too. But you get all your aggression out as a villain. I like that. Makes me nicer around the house. It's all out. Thank you.
In terms of like evil, how would you say villains like I'm not familiar with Lord of the Rings, but like Morgoth, Sauron, or the Balrogs, they kind of fall into the category of like the first type, and you don't think that's very interesting, but like they're still very interesting villains.
I think there's some power in there too.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of power.
The lusting for power, trying to get control and to get power is a big part of it. I would say a lot of the villains in Lord of the Rings are trying to get power. A lot of them, for sure.
Also, can we get Vector the Crocodile making out with Torbjorn?
Thanks for showing us where your brain is at. Here's a totally normal question. This is totally normal. And can we get like Vector the Crocodile making out with Torbjorn? No? Okay. It's awesome. I love that you asked that though, man. I will remember that. Yeah.
Hi, Keith.
Hi.
Welcome to San Antonio.
Thank you very much.
I have kind of two questions.
Yeah.
The first one's kind of a two-parter.
Okay,
it's
that's 3 questions.
Okay, just 2.
Narrow it to 1, and the only reason I say that is because I want to some people I don't want to have to turn away. You know?
I'll set it to 2. The first one is about Persona 5.
Okay, know that I recorded it, have not played it. So if it's a very detailed question, I'm going to go, someone?
Well,
go for it.
What was it like playing the role of Masayoshi Shido, and if they were to add like a chapter where like the villain get a turn, actually like it's reversed, would you love doing it?
You're saying if they gave me more screen time, would I be okay with that?
Well, like if the Shido team.
I am an actor, I clearly
like the other villains and the Phantom Thieves have with the rulers of the palace.
It sounds cool to me. Listen, if they do anything else and they're like, hey, we need more Masayoshi Shido, I'm there. Like, sign me up. I had a lot of fun working on that game. I didn't know it was going to blow up like it did.
I was shocked when I played the game to find out if they all were to meet again.
Yeah.
And my second question is, I know you were in a movie I watched called My Hero Academia, Two Heroes.
Yeah.
What was it like recording the role of Wolfram and fighting against like Todoroki and all that?
Oh, he was interesting. He was a little different because he doesn't get a ton of screen time and the story's not about him. With a lot of films and a lot of shows, when the villain's in there, like it's a lot about the villain, you get backstory in the villain, then when they die, they go, it all started when I was young, like you have some kind of a monologue or something as they're dying, and that didn't happen. It didn't happen in that because the story was very fascinating. He's in it a lot and he gets to fight a lot and yell and scream and back and forth, but it doesn't go into that with him because it's not important. He's just like a generic, I mean, hopefully I made it more interesting than generic, but he doesn't have a set backstory because that's not what the villain serves. I don't want to ruin the movie for people, but that's not what, you just had to have a villain. And so that's what Wolfram was. I thought it was pretty cool.
It was a good fight scene, and I hope someday if they make an animation of Royal, that, you know, Shido comes back.
I do too. I'm with you.
Thank you.
I'm with you, brother, on that one. What's going on? Hi.
Hi. Do you enjoy playing villain roles more than heroes?
Generally speaking, yes. But what I enjoy most in voiceover is not being like, you know, pigeonholed, like you have to play just this. You can only play this type of character, this age, or only villains, only heroes. And some people do kind of get stuck in that. They have a voice that lends only to something. So I feel like yes, I play more villains, I think, but it's been a pretty healthy mix, and so I don't get bored. And I value that more than how much I love playing villains.
I also have another question. So my birthday was a while ago. How would Hisoka say happy birthday?
How would he say happy birthday?
Yeah, how would he say it?
I think he would say, happy birthday. I mean, what? I mean, that's how he would say it, I think.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I got like 2 questions. Is that okay with you?
No, just give me one question. Good one. Pick the best of your 2.
Okay. As Hisoka, can you like say go in a very weird way?
No. No, I can't. You know what? I loved doing that and I enjoyed it. In fact, the story behind that is, you guys know what part we're talking about? You guys know this scene he's talking about? He moans for a long time in the scene in case you don't know what this is. And here's the thing. When we recorded that, Tony Oliver was directing it. And I saw the scene, I was like, oh, okay, wow, okay, sure, we're doing this, all right. So I did it. And usually we do a couple of takes just to make sure, we do a safety take at least to make sure. So after we did it, I was like, hey Tony, do you want to hear another one? He's like, I don't ever want to hear that again. We'll take that take, that's fine.
At least I asked, but
That's
thank
fine.
you.
No problem with asking, but that's kind of the thing, that question will live on forever because I don't do that for people. And I think career-wise, it's a good choice because I literally have 8-year-olds who don't know what that scene means. We're like, can you do that thing? And I'm like, no. Do you know what I mean? I think it's a better choice for me. I'm taking the high road. The character did it, but I don't want to be the actor that moans on command for anybody else. So please forgive me. I don't have a problem with you asking it, but please understand that I'm not going to be that guy. Hi, how's it going?
So what made you want to start your acting career and what made you want to get into voice acting again?
I owed a lot of money to the mob, and I did not. No, I always knew I was going to do something in entertainment. I knew I was going to be a 9-to-5 cubicle dude, and growing up, I had a difficult time deciding. So I like to be like kind of good at like a lot of things instead of focusing on one thing. But I did something for my uncle. He said, "Andy, you do voices. You want to read for a couple of characters in this thing I'm producing?" And I said, "Yeah." And I read for it, but I booked a couple of roles. And when I recorded in a real studio, I said, "Okay, this is what I want to do." I didn't even think about this before, and now. So then I was getting in classes. It still was years of work for me to start really working and to retire from like waiting tables and other things. But just doing it. Once I did it, I was like, "Oh, this is it. This is what I want to do." And I was very thankful to the universe for providing something, because I was like, "I don't know. I'm gonna be a dancer, a rapper, an actor, a writer. I don't know what I'm gonna do." So.
Also, I really hope that you can audition for Dragon Ball Super if it ever comes back.
For Dragon Ball Super? All
I
right.
love you as a leg.
All right. We'll see. Oh, you look great.
Thank you.
I love it. You're older going,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
My daughter, we were watching that and she couldn't stop laughing at that part. She kept saying it was sus and she just kept laughing. That was funny.
Pleasure to talk to you.
Nice to
I
meet
just
you.
want to know how your visit is in San Antonio.
Well, so far it's been wonderful. I'll tell you, the extent of my visit, and you can take full credit for this, has been meeting all of you. Like everybody that's come up and met me, the energy from you guys is what makes these experiences great for me. That's the main thing. I don't get time to see your city, generally speaking. No, but I don't. Rarely, very rarely when I travel do I get that chance. So it's all about you guys and the con and the staff and everything. So far it's been fantastic, and you have yourselves to thank for that. So, yeah. Thank you. Oh, you're very welcome. My pleasure.
Hello.
Hi.
I just want to say first, you sound amazing as Maury from Oakland Stray Dogs. And besides villains, who's your favorite role to play as?
Effort is what's important. Results come second. There was your Maury for you. Who's my favorite what?
Who's besides villains? Who is your favorite character to play as?
I like to play little ducks.
I can't do the voice of that. No, I don't have another favorite. I don't, I have a favorite voice. I like to, I like to do this voice. And here, it's not even an original voice from me, but I love it. So I don't know. But I don't have like a favorite category. I like playing villains, but every character is different, to be totally honest. So there could be a hero or a sidekick or something that could end up being my favorite. You don't have to be, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'm not satisfied if I'm not playing a villain. Does that make sense? I just like a nice, challenging, interesting, fun role. And what I like more than anything is the variety. So if I said villains are my favorite, and so everybody booked me for villains only, it wouldn't be as satisfying.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Also,
what are you handing me? Oh, you're giving me a kiss? Thank you. Thank you. Hello? Yeah. Okay, last question on the third, these three here, and that's it.
I was just wondering, like, what the stuff Hisoka says. Do you ever, like, just read the lines when you were doing it and just, like, why is this so out of cap?
Well, here's the thing. You know, voiceover is a very, very, very different world. So once you're doing it for years, okay, you do stuff where, you know, you go and they go like an audition, they're like, okay, cool. Or even when you're recording, they go, cool, thanks for doing your character. Now we need some gorilla sounds. Okay, now we need some monster sounds. All right, now we need you to play this weird character that thinks they're a little boy or whatever. And so I'm saying, after you do it for a little while, you stop that part of your brain that goes, no, I'm not doing that, because that's not how you work. You know, you work by going, oh, okay, this is what you want. Let me do the best I can at what you want, right? Because you get those weird things. That's what voiceover is. So people like to focus on this Hisoka. I'll give you an example. I do live action dubs too, okay? So live action films that are in another language and putting them in English. It's a live action film. How many times do you think there's a romantic situation happening? And sometimes they're not consensual. It's just movies. These are just live action movies. I'm dubbing the guy in those scenes. So I'm not talking about adult films, but I'm talking about just all the stuff you guys already all watch, so don't get weird. You know what I mean? But I'm saying they're just normal shows that are PG-13 or R. So I'm saying I've had to do things, you know, just sounds and things that you're just like, oh, wow, okay. It's different, it's weird, you're like, all right. So, you know, Hisoka, you know, to me that was much more all in good fun. it was, you know, there's some weird scenes and stuff that I've had to do. Nothing you're gonna find that's gonna be embarrassing. I haven't done anything like that. But you get used to it. Does that make sense? That becomes the job. And you're like, okay. I notice it's like, oh, it's this of this nature. But it doesn't mean I'm like, oh, like I'm frozen up or this is too weird.
Does it ever make you laugh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You should generally take it in a good way. But I mean, yeah, sometimes it's pretty funny, the stuff that happens. I'm sure I laughed first before I did the big he suck a moan scene or whatever. It's like, what? Because you watch it and you go, you want me to do that? Okay, but then you do it. You're just joking, and then I'm joking because I know Tony, so I can go, you want me to do that? If it was some director I'd never worked with, and I just want to seem super professional, I might just have launched straight into it without saying anything. Make sense? But yeah, you get used to it. I know it seems weird, because you're like to walk in on your first day of voiceover and they're like, do this, you'd be like, oh my God, I quit. But, you know, when you're years into it, I was like 15 years into it or something by then. So, hopefully that answers your question. You're all gonna like search for like weird movies I was in. I'm like, they're not weird movies. They're just normal movies. Hi, how you doing?
So this is like a more antagonistic panel. This is a bit different from your normal rules, but how did you feel playing Mikoto in K-Project?
Oh, I had so much fun on that. K-Project was awesome, and technically I enjoyed recording him because they cranked the mics up super, super, super high. Because, you know, he's like, burn them all. He lives in here. So he's way down here like this. So, you know, he only got louder when he needed to be. So it paid to not be too projected for him. And that technically is what I enjoyed the most about that. It was a beautiful, I mean, the animation is beautiful in that. The music is great. I fell in love with it within the first like 3-4 minutes. And I'll have you know, every time he had a cigarette in his mouth, I do not smoke, but I did have an actual cigarette in my mouth. You could fake it or throw a pencil in your mouth. But I was like, no, I'm doing it real all the way.
It was very sudden when the movies came out. Like it was 7 movies, I believe, all at once.
I don't know, there were a few though.
Yeah.
There's been a few things. Anybody want to guess what kind of cigarettes they were? I don't know how well you know cigarettes.
Marlboro.
Marlboro Red.
They were Reds. They were pyramid Reds. But the funny thing is, I didn't even buy them myself. My mother-in-law was going to the store, and I said, hey, can you pick me up a pack of cigarettes? She's like, I don't want to pick that up for you. You don't smoke. I don't want to start you smoking. I was like, no, I'm not going to smoke. I'm going to just use them to put in my mouth for the sound of it, for a character that's smoking, so it's accurate. I don't want to do that. No, please, can you save me time? I'm gonna. Anyway, I didn't say which ones because it didn't matter, but she brought me back Pyramid Reds, and I went, dope. He's the Red King, if you're wondering. So that was kind of cool. You're welcome. Crollo, what's up?
Yes, I just wanted to say, what are the chances Hunter x Hunter starts up again?
I don't know, you guys know probably as much as I know. I mean, the writer of the manga is back writing, and I believe, so if you haven't heard that was a big announcement. So there's more manga coming. I don't know when or what. Again, that doesn't have to do with me, but, and then I believe he also said his wife will take over because I believe he's sick. He's dealing with, I don't know if it's cancer or what he's dealing with, but he's dealing with something. And if he is unable to finish, his wife, who's wrote like Sailor Moon and stuff, will take over. So we should be getting more manga. There's been no announcement for anything animated. But if the manga's being written now and you think it's going to be animated one day, you just got to do the math.
Just gotta stay alive.
Well, but I'm saying just do the math. How long would it take for them to animate it and get it to us? You know what I mean? So it just, like this just got announced like 3 months ago. So if they were recording now, it would be a miracle. Like, wow, how did you possibly, the writing's just coming, you animated it in like 2 months? Go! You guys are awesome. But I'm fingers crossed, trust me. However much you want it, I want it more. You're welcome, Crollo. Thank you guys so much for coming out. I appreciate it. I will be signing, and come say hi if you haven't yet. I'd love to get to meet you guys all individually, but thanks so much for coming out. I appreciate it. Stay evil, but not too evil. Within reason, y'all. Thank you.